So it's only a short amount of time. So what can I do in 7 minutes? What can I do in 4 minutes? I can check out an abstract. But I'm not going to look at a book, and I'm probably not going to read an entire journal article. And then what we also found when we looked at bringing this information down to our researcher community, we found that their corporate and academic researchers are divided by device. So another show of hands. So how many people in this room, or let me say it differently, how many people's companies have bought for them or given them access to a BlackBerry? This is sounding like this is going to work. All right, then in the same question, how many have businesses who have paid for an Apple iPhone? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 3 people. And that's the big difference. So corporates, when they're looking for mobility for their people, enterprise architecture is real easy with BlackBerries. It's easy to serve, doesn't cost that much, everybody uses them. So corporates pay for BlackBerries, and therefore corporate researchers have BlackBerries. In academia, if they're so lucky that the organization is going to pay for a device, it might be a BlackBerry. But generally speaking, researchers have to foot their own bill. And if given the choice, most people are picking an Apple. So the third question in this area is, how many of you have bought your own device, and was it an Apple? Look at that. Hey, it worked. Didn't know how that would go, but glad it worked out. So then we think about the device shipments, and this starts to get into why have we made the decisions that we have made in terms of what's our strategy, what's going forward. We looked at device shipments. So if you look at the BlackBerry device count, they have about 20%, I think it's 20%. Yeah, 20% of the device share in the world. So lots of units, no doubt about it. Corporate's paying for most of them. And then if you look down to the bottom, though, look at the amount of internet traffic that comes from BlackBerries, 5%. So lots of units, no traffic. Now, how many of you, don't raise your hand on this, but how many of you have used the BlackBerry to go to the internet? You know, after about 3 minutes, you probably give up, turn it off, and go home and do it when you get home. I was sitting in the back of the room looking for something while Alexander was presenting. Yes, but I was mostly paying attention. And I was and I'm waiting. And I said, forget it. It's terrible. So then we look at the iPhone, 15% share, decent amount. But then look at the volume, 54% of the world's internet traffic from mobile devices is run through the Apple. That's a big number. And what does that mean? It's easy, it works, it's fast. So, now that we've talked a little about macro trends, economics, and language, what does that mean to scientific researchers in academia and corporate? I wanted to talk about what are we doing about this. The first thing is to just make sure that we talk a little bit about websites and apps. Now, standing up here, maybe a lot of you are looking at me saying, oh, this is so boring. Of course, I know what a website is. I know what an app is. Please skip it. If I were here a year ago, I bet not so many people would be saying that. And I bet if I'm here a year from now, most people would be saying, of course, everybody knows this. But it's worth taking a little bit of time on. So mobile websites are simply the existing website of any company has on the internet, optimized so it can be shown on a small device. And what happens is the website knows that I have a BlackBerry, and so it gives me the look that works inside of a BlackBerry, this big by that big. And then if I have a clamshell like that Motorola Razr, if I use that, it comes back and gives me the look that's going to fit in that little screen and fit with the buttons, the functionality, and the features that that phone has. So that's how a mobile website works. And the other thing that is important about mobile websites is it's not an exact replication of the website that you would see from your desk, because the screen is small, doesn't have a mouse, doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. So the way that they're designed is they usually look at what are the top 5 to 7 to 10 value-added features or capabilities that are provided by a website and can be used in a mobile device while someone is standing with the bus for 5 minutes. And that's how people design what goes onto a mobile website. The pros, if you have a device with internet access, you can go there and see it. You can go to Science Direct and you can look at it. Doesn't matter where you are. It may not be the best experience because you've got a little teeny phone, but if you have internet access, and almost every phone does these days, you can get access. So great on coverage and penetration of the researcher body. The weakness is that it has to use a cell tower. So you have to be within range of a cell tower, and most people may be thinking, well, where would you be that you're not in range? And I've been a couple places this year, surprisingly, where I was out of range. And I didn't think that I would be, but I was. And I had no cell phone service and no data packages coming and going, and I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to live? But you have to be in range for this thing to work. So mobile applications, it's very simple. In my sort of simple brain, the way I think about it is, a mobile application is just a tiny piece of software that's put onto the device, the phone. And it works with the software operating system that's there, and it works with the hardware features that are there, like geo-positioning of satellites, or an Apple, you can tilt it around and it does things. So those are hardware that work with applications. It's the same as putting Picasa on your computer or putting Quicken on your computer. The pros and the cons, the pros, it's customized, it's personal. I can choose the 5 things that I want an application to do for me. The downsides, another pro is the user experience. It's really rich. It does exactly what people want. The 5 top things to do that are the best for the application, it serves it up. Downsides, there's really not much downside, to be honest. So what we found out, and this is a 1 page of our strategy. It's very simple. It took a lot of pages and efforts to get here. But essentially, we're going to build a collection of applications and websites that will work together. And we found that the best experience is through applications. The best coverage is through websites. Build them both, and you get the best of both worlds. So for the applications, we will build applications for Science Direct and Scopus, Reaxys, and other properties that you know, Embase at some point. And then we will build it on the iPhone platform and then scale down to Android, BlackBerry over time. The mobile websites, we will build websites for Science Direct and Scopus over time, and they will be built so that big screen devices can see it, small screen devices can see it over time. And on the right-hand side, there's a picture of an iPad and an e-reader. And there's a lot of sizzle and a lot of sexiness about these. And my manager and other people are like, why aren't we doing things for the iPad? Well, the original story was there's only 2% device penetration in the world. So even if you had a great app and everyone loved it, then only 2% of the world would love it. The other piece is, so we looked for penetration. Let's get the most people involved. Then the other piece is that the iPad just came out. Nobody really knew what it was going to do and what the response was. And could it be a category killer? Could it be so awesome that the Nook and the Kindle, these other e-readers, are just, people just leave them because they're just nothing anymore? We don't know. And so our position was, let's sit back, wait a little bit, and let's build applications that will work on the iPhone and things, and also work on the app, or on the iPad. So some time just on the applications that we have built so far. Cyverse Scopus iPhone app. It's out there. You can go to the iTunes store right now and download it. It's free. It's been out there for several months now. These are sort of the top recognized things that researchers do. This will all resonate with people. You can search the database, create search alerts, save favorites, share the information, email it to yourself.